Hello and welcome to the third installment of the After Effects tutorial series. My name is Sean Riley, and today in this third tutorial we'll be going over the basics of 2D motion tracking. This is quite a cool feature that After Effects has inbuilt into it, and it can be used quite effectively. So first of all, we need to go File, New Project, just to clear everything off our screen and set everything to basics. To have a workspace like mine, all you have to do is come up to the workspace option on the top right, little drop down list, and select motion tracking. This will give us this tracker panel over here on the right hand side, which is what we'll be using to do most of our motion tracking. Now if we go File, Import, File, there should be a file called Base Video. This will be the main video that we'll be editing. It should hopefully be in the same folder as this tutorial video. If we just click on Open, it'll bring it over here into our project panel on the left hand side. Just left click, drag it down into our timeline and release, and it should bring it up on our stage. To make things much smoother, there should be a little window down here next to the colored circles. If you drop down on that and then click Auto, it will change the resolution of this automatically so that it can make it run nice and smooth on your computer. Now what we need to do is right click down here on the timeline, New, Null Object. This will just make this little red square here, and that's all we need to do with that for now. If we select the base video again, that should allow us to click on this track motion button on the right hand side, which will bring up track point 1. All you need to do is scroll in so you can get a nice view of it, and if we just left click on it when it has the little arrow icon and drag it over here to this white square, and there should be a little green point just off to the top right hand side of it, and if we put that X right in the middle of the green point, as you can see there is still a little bit of white off to the left, and there's the main green. This gives us a really good contrasting point, which is what the motion tracking looks for, because there won't be any other bit on this video that has a big white bit like that and a little green bit next to it. If we scroll down to zoom out again, then we can see all of it again. If we come over here to the right hand side and click on Edit Target, this will just double check that it has selected Null 1 as our layer property. If it isn't Null 1, just click on the box and then click on Null 1. Click OK to close that little window again. Okay, now we need to come over here to the Analyze thing, back on the Motion Tracker panel, and hover over this. It says Analyze Forward. If you just left click on that once, it'll start analyzing the video clip. Feel free to pause the video here, as it might take a while for it to analyze it frame by frame and track the motion. I'll be right back once mine is done loading. Okay, now that your video has done motion tracking, just come over back here onto the tracker panel and just click Apply, make sure it is X and Y, and then just click OK. Should get rid of all those little squares. Now if we come down here back onto the timeline, you'll see there'll be a little arrow just to the left of the colored box for the Null 1. Just need to click on that down arrow once. It should come up with a little thing saying transform. Click down on that again, and you'll see all of these heaps and heaps and heaps of keyframes here. Now all we need to do is we need to just drag and select all of these keyframes so that they all turn yellow. Now if we come up here to the Animation button at the very top left of the screen, Animation, Keyframe Assistant, and just click on Easy Ease, or just use the keyframe F9. Now this should just make the movement nice and smooth and flow very nicely. Now if we just come back to that little arrow again, we just click on the transform arrow again, should minimize all that, and then click on the Null 1 again, and it should minimize all of that, and that's done. Now we just click anywhere, and those little red dots should appear. Now time to make the text. If we click on the text tool, or use the shortcut Control T, it should bring up the text clicker. If we just left click and type in whatever we would like to say. I'll just type in hello. There we go. If we just go back to the normal selector tool by pushing V or clicking on the selection tool on the top left, then we can just move this text around. What I like to do is I like to move the text so that it is covering the little square that we have worked with. Just like that, and just drag it so that it's covering that little white square and so that you can't see anything. Once you've done that, you can change the font, change the color, size of text, and do whatever you want really. It's up to you. Once you've edited all of your text so that it looks nice and pretty, if you come down here back onto the timeline, under Parent, there'll be like a little snail icon. Make sure hello is selected, or whatever your text is called. Left click on the little snail icon, hold down, and just drag over to the null one. And so it should have null one selected, and then just let go. Now what it has done is it has parented hello, or your text, to null one, and now whenever null one moves, your text will move. So if you move your header around on the timeline, your text has moved along with the null object, and the null object is motion tracked to the base video, and it's just one big chain. That should look quite nice. Now that we're all done editing the video, all we have to do is render it. To do that, we'll just go over it again, go up to the File, Export, Add to Render Queue. This should bring up all the render settings. Now what settings we're going to use for this video is if we click on Best Settings in yellow, make sure that quality is best, resolution is full, and that it is use comp frame rate. Then we just click on OK. Output mode, just click on the word lossless. Now we are going to output this as an Windows Media file. Just click on that and then click OK. Now it should say Custom Windows Media. Now we come over here to the final yellow one, click on basevideo.wmv. Now you can choose wherever you want to save it to. Just select where you want to save it to. I'll save it here, and I shall call it Final Render. And just click on Save. Now that we've got all of those settings set out, we just come over here to the Render button on the right hand side and click Render. Now it should slowly go through your entire video and render it out frame by frame, and then follow your teacher's instructions as to what you should do so that they can mark it. Thanks for watching the third tutorial. I hope to see you in the fourth.